happy, happy 4th of July to all of you. It's a very dear holiday. It's a very special holiday. It's a kickoff of summer. It's fun. It's hot dogs. It's baseball games. It's boating. It's beaches. It's get-together barbecues with everybody. It's just a fun time. But more important, it is about our freedom. Our country's going through a really tough time right now. You know, we have our highs and lows to what we think. This is not about politics. It's just about talking about our freedom. And as bad as maybe our world sounds and channeling into the news, I'm still very happy and thankful each and every day that we have freedom. And we have freedom because of all the many great men and women that serve and continue to serve our nation. You know, my husband was a Navy man, and I am beyond grateful. My husband takes it very seriously. I tell people all the time, please hang out your flags. It's in respect to everybody that has fought so desperately for what we have. So please don't forget that. I really mean that. Now, this is taking me to a psychic story that I want to share with you because I think today is the appropriate day of me telling this story. 3 weeks ago, I had a gentleman who came in and see me, a very nice man. And as we were sitting and we were conversing, he was telling me that he had served in the Gulf War. And there was an explosion, and he was caught in it, and so was his best friend. But his best friend had died in the explosion, and he was burned beyond words. It was beyond words. It was so graphic. It was horrendous. And this poor man had to witness all of it, and he just kept seeing his friend's face of how it looked. Needless to say, he finished out, being where he was. And after he was discharged, he had post-traumatic stress disorder in such a bad way. He couldn't get the vision from his friend's face of the explosion. He just couldn't, no matter what he did, where he went. He kept hearing the cries. He kept hearing all of it. So he started to go around the world for about 2 years because he just wanted to live like a bum. He didn't know where his next meal was going to come from. He just had a duffel bag, and that's where he was. He just, where the wind took him is where he ended up going. And he was really struggling. So one day he's in Amsterdam, and they have an underground, I guess, train system from the airport. And he sees this little boy whose half of his face is burned. And he's looking. And all of a sudden, his friend who had died said, okay, you see this little boy? What are you going to do about it? And he's looking and he's hearing this. He thinks he's going crazy, of course. And his friend says, think about it. You going to wallow in it, or are you going to do something about it? Are you going to stay in this? He goes, buddy, the war's over. What are you going to do with it now? And he's just looking, and he's like, what the hell is going on? This was his words. So everywhere he was going, now he begins to hear his friend, and his friend is telling him, what are you going to do? So as time goes by, he gets back to the States, still feeling lost. And he remembered this little boy's face, and he remembered this little boy was still alive. So that probed him into becoming a doctor. He turned into going into school. He hung up his duffel bag. He cleaned his life up, and he started going to med school to be a plastic surgeon for the burn victims unit. Now, he becomes a doctor, a surgeon, and he has a very complex case with someone who had a house fire. And this poor man was burned terrible. And he was a young man, and he was working on his face surgically in the operation. And it was long, it was grueling, it was about 8 hours. And after he was done, and as he's watching up, he sees his friend who had passed. And remember, all he ever did was see that vision of that horrible, horrible explosion and what his friend looked like. For the first time, his friend came to him whole with not a mark on his face. And he says, you did good. That's what it's about. And with that, he saw his friend just immediately go and disappear. He was in his uniform, but with a beautiful face. And he was pure and he was whole. So he took something that was so tragic and turned it into something magnificent. Him serving and what he did at the Gulf War. And he was lost for a long time. Needless to say, I was crying my eyes out with the story. And I was trying really hard not to cry even telling you the story. So, with every tragedy, it's what you're going to do with it. But the power of spirit that finally comes through in a whole way. So I guess the magic here is no matter how bad you are facing someone's passing, when you can finally make peace and go on with your life to do something really grand because of this person or in memory of this person, as much as you never maybe see a loved one, they will come through, believe me, and at the strangest times, and let you know that you did good. So, from Travis and I, Travis, who is my wonderful producer, and myself, and he does these videos all the time. Without Travis, you wouldn't be seeing me. From all of us to all of you, happy 4th of July. Freedom. Remember that. All the best. Love you guys. Bye-bye.